For this next part, I want to start talking about Chapter 8 content. I'm not going to go through every Chapter 8 content problem from the midterm, but just talk about a couple of things where there were a lot of the same mistakes. The first thing is with the question that was about Antonio and Rob's graduation money, where they each got $1,000 and invested it differently and took it out at different times. The most common mistake on this was that a lot of people, I don't know if it was just not reading close enough or maybe misreading, but a lot of people used the compound interest formula, okay, which is this one, when the pen works. There we go. Which is this one for both of the interests, but it said that one of them was simple interest and one of them was compound, okay? Also, it was a different number of years, so T equals 3 on one of them, T equals 4 on the other. Couple mistakes there. If you did use simple interest correctly and you got, I think came out to be like 288 or something like this, okay? And then you did compound interest on the other one and you got something that was around, hold on, I'll just look. Oh, 1288 and, 288 and 1211. So this one came out to be about 1211 something. A lot of people subtracted these two amounts, except remember, this right here is just interest. So if you want to know the total amount that's left in the account, you need to add that to what was invested, which was the 1,000. So you were really looking for the difference between 1288 and 1211, not 288 and 1211, okay? So just a note on that, be very careful when you're reading. For effective interest rate, first of all, if the question is looking for a rate and your answer is not a percent, that should be a red flag that you're doing something wrong, okay? Some of you gave me answers that were like something $100, okay? That's not going to be a rate, so just pay close attention to the question and the words in the question and don't just look for numbers to plug into a formula, okay? For effective interest rate, notice that there's no principal right here, okay? We're not multiplying by a principal, so it does not matter how much starts in the account. Okay, and also we're not multiplying by time up here. It does not matter how long the money is in the account. Effective interest rate finds the yearly interest rate after basically finding when the interest has been calculated for 12 months, what interest rate does that actually represent, okay? So even though there may be a principal amount and a time given in the problem, effective interest rate only cares about the rate, the loan rate, and the number of times per year that is computed, which is n, okay? You should get a number that's going to be 0.0 something because that's going to, when changed to a percent, comes out to be, like a single digit number, which is probably something reasonable. If you're getting something that's like 0.739, well, that's 73.9%, and that's a little ridiculously high, okay? You're looking for something that ends up being in a single digit when it is changed to a percent. On that note, if you did not change it to a percent, if you just left your answer as 3 point something without a percent sign, that's incorrect. If you left it as 0.3 something, you didn't change it to a rate, you missed a little bit of points on that as well, okay? So be very mindful about how you answer the questions and what you use as your units, okay? For the credit card balance, most of you did great on this. The only common mistake here was that when computing the interest, it said there was 2.1% per month on the unpaid balance. The balance the balance used for the interest is the balance at the beginning of the month, not the end of the month. Basically, it's what was the carryover from the previous month that did not get paid. So if you come in on the first day, we'll say January 1st, and there's a balance of $400, okay? And then there's some purchases and some payments, and at the end of the month, you're looking for your balance. Okay, well, you add or subtract whatever comes in here, but then you also add 400 times, and then whatever the rate on that is. In this case, it was 2.1, so times 0.021. It's not the balance on January 30th times 0.021 that gets added, okay? Because you don't get charged interest on the last day of the month before you've had a chance to pay that balance. It's the interest on what's coming from the previous month, okay? All right, for the next thing, for installment buying, Most of these were pretty good, at least on the first parts of the questions, but maybe had a harder time finding the finance charge and the APR from the table, okay? Not every question will look exactly the same way, but I am going to go through this example just to show you what one more would look like, okay? That doesn't mean that the one on the final exam, if there's a question like this, is going to match exactly, okay? But it is going to have the same pieces in some kind of fashion. All right, so we've got Matt buying a car, $9,320. The down payment is $1,000, and monthly payments are $175 for 5 years. Okay, first of all, how much is he actually financing? In other words, how much is he getting a loan for and then paying interest on? Well, that's going to be the difference of these two numbers. Okay, so he is financing $83.20. Okay, now we also need to figure out what's the finance charge, what's the APR, how much is this costing him total. Okay, a few different things there. We do know that he's being charged $175 for 5 years. That's 60 months total. Okay, so if we multiply those, we get $10,500. That is how much he is paying total with those 5 years of monthly payments. However, that's not the total cost, because remember, he also put $1,000 down. So really the total cost to him is going to be $11,500. Okay? So that's total cost there. Now, the finance charge means how much was he charged, not for the car, but in interest, because he was able to finance it through the bank or through the dealer. And the way that we find that is we figure out what's the difference between what he paid and what the vehicle actually cost. Okay, so we could do the $11,500 minus the $93.20, or before that other down payment was added, we could do the $10,500 minus the $83.20. We'll get the same number there, okay? And we end up with a finance charge of $2,180, okay? That's the amount of interest that was paid. That's the amount that he had to pay above the cost of the car, okay? And then to find the APR, we go to the table, okay? This is in your book if you need to look back at it. We go to the table and we look under the row where it says the number of payments is 60, okay, which is on the bottom row for the table from our book, okay? And we move across there. We're looking for the finance charge per 100, okay? Oh, I need to do the per 100. So we backing up a second, we need to do 28 or 2180. We need to divide that.
Good afternoon. May I have your attention, please?
Sorry, there's an announcement.
Please call the office at 20100. Mr. Baker, call 20100. Thank you.
I apologize. There was an announcement over the PA. Okay, so we do 2180. We divide that by the amount that he's paying in his monthly fees, okay? And that comes out to be 0.2620 something, something, something. Multiplied by 100, we're looking at $26.20 per 100 financed, okay? So I'm looking on my chart for something that's close to 2620. I see that under 9.5, it's 26.01, which is a little bit less than this. 10% is at 27.48, which is significantly higher. So I'm going to go with the 9.5%, okay? Or if you wanted to say slightly higher than that, maybe do 9.6, that'd be fine. But really going to the closest number is fine, okay? So 9.5 would be the percent for that. I'm going to pause here and come back for the last couple examples in just a minute.